Kenyon Jackson, Melanie Jackson's son.
Yeah.
They're old, not Keith Jr., but the one that they got. Do you know that he's the assistant defensive line coordinator for the Texans?
Serious?
He was with, you know Newby? Well, Floyd is his real name, but we call him Newby Dotson. We ran into each other, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm here to see Kenyon. Okay. I said, Kenyon ain't playing? He said, man, he's the assistant defensive line coordinator for Houston. I was like, wow. So Keith, I was telling him Keith Jackson's son is the assistant. Okay. Yeah, court. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. So I figured Melanie would, but they're not. I mean, they move so much, move around so much, man. That's, you know. But to play football in college, he went to Illinois. To play football in college, your dad used to do color commentary, whatever, and then to actually work for a pro team. I mean, that's got to be cool. That's got to, because his dad never worked for a pro team, I don't think.
No, he didn't. Just commentator once he finished.
He just got out and came on and did what he did. So cool. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Cool.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes, we're going to do it 3 times because we got 3 questions. Hey, welcome to Grace Unfiltered with my 2 friends, Joshua and Stephen. My name is Neil, and we are happy that you are here with us. I was not here on Sunday, but I do understand that it was a great time.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. They're real talkative this morning. I can't, either that or cold or something. I don't know. I've been away for quite some time, for what, 3 days. So we got 3 questions.
Right.
And they're hot, off the press. Question number 1. I love singing Christmas carols at church. Thank you for leading us with them. They said you're welcome. Question number 2. She was like, Aunt? Y'all sang Christmas carols Sunday?
Yeah.
How many y'all sing?
Whole lot of them.
We sang 2 Christmas carols, but like, you know what Carolyn, Cordell and Jessica did, there's one song, but they sang about 7 songs in that one song. Right.
Yeah.
So
it's called a medley.
It's called
there you go.
Medley.
A medley. Yeah. Not melody. That's somebody else. Hey, here's question up. This is going to be a short Grace Unfiltered. I'm just telling y'all ahead of time. So if you got something else to do, just turn the oven on. Number 2.
You're going to stretch it out.
I'm going to stretch it out now. Well, I'm good, but I ain't that good. There are a lot of churches that aren't, this is a good question. There are a lot of churches that aren't meeting on Christmas Sunday, and there are a lot of churches that are. Maybe. Why aren't we meeting on Christmas Sunday?
For people to spend time with their family.
Look, there you go. That's it. Josh?
No, I get that. I actually, so at least my Twitter feed is full of this.
Yeah.
People calling out churches and pastors for not doing this. It's Jesus. The best way I can explain it is Jesus ran into this once, and people were accusing him of doing certain things on Sabbath, not doing certain things on Sabbath.
Yep.
And he responded by saying, "Man was not made for the Sabbath, but Sabbath was made for man."
Yeah.
And in this particular instance, we are planning to have our worship on Saturday night,
which is Christmas Eve,
which is right.
2 birds with 1 stone. But I don't want to say
all of that
like that.
And
but you just said it.
I just said it. Yeah.
Right. And Sunday, and Sunday is meant to, because I want to be at home with my family. Most of our leadership, most of the volunteers want to be home with their family. You probably want to be home with your family. And so that's what we're doing. And if not, then we encourage you to visit another church that is doing it on a Sunday and then come back the next week.
Yeah. There you go.
And a lot of people will make an issue out of it, but at the same time, they won't come to church either.
Right. You know, so let me tell you, so funny
People
thing.
have a way of canceling things, but making it an issue.
Man, you
by
know
not
what?
showing up.
Yeah, they won't come Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
There you go.
There's people, I'm talking to a guy, you know, because I deal with a lot of pastors across the state, so I'm talking to a guy. He's angry, you know, getting angry, you know, text messages from members. Hey, we're mad because, we should have church on Sunday, da, da, da. Well, and I said, well, who are these leaders? Are these people? He said, no, they hadn't been to church in like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, well, why pay attention to that?
What you said.
Because it's, and again, I mean, here is the thing. I think we got to be real careful. We walk a thin line between relationship and legalism. And if we fall into that legalism thing, we'll be in trouble. We really will be in trouble. I have had my mother-in-law doesn't watch this, so I can just say this. Had a conversation with my mother-in-law, and she would just get angry about, well, no, this is what you're supposed to do, and service should not be before 11 o'clock. Just
you hear that, mother-in-law?
Yeah, no, she ain't gonna watch it. I hope not. But 11 o'clock, gotta have church at 11 o'clock. I said, well, where is that in the Bible? We gotta have service at 11. Just blows my mind. So we're in heaven because it's Christmas Sunday. But, you can go back and watch the replay on Sunday.
There you go.
With your family. Here it is, question number 3 and the final question. You preached, I know who preached this one. You preached that, quote, all things work out for good to those who love God. Bam, I already know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an example from your life where God did that?
Yes.
That's
And on to Josh.
Well, everybody.
I can go back when very early stages of my ministry. I was pastoring in Bald Knob, Arkansas, Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. Yeah, strawberry capital of Arkansas. And Maurice invited me to come to be his assistant.
Yeah.
And he asked me to give him 5 years serving as the assistant, and we would turn that church upside down. Needless to say, 8 months later, he was gone. He had been called to a church in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
And on the surface, looking at that, it left me somewhat out in the cold. And little did we know that God was just getting me in position.
Yeah.
But the talk of the city at that time was, what are you going to do?
Wow.
You made a big mistake.
Yourself? Were you wondering?
Oh, yes, I was saying that. But at the end of the day, I still believe that God had a plan and a purpose. And so as he exited out, here I was, somewhat in no man's land.
Wow.
Craziness, I was up for 3 churches.
Yeah,
but God put on my heart to wait because I believe that he wanted me to become the senior pastor at that particular church. But on the surface, it looked like a tragedy.
Yeah.
Me leaving a very secure place to go to a place that all of a sudden on the surface became very unsecure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's where God wanted me to be.
But that was like overnight.
Yes.
That's, man, give me 5 years. Well, 5 months later, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. So that was a situation that on the surface, it didn't look very well.
Yeah.
It looked on the surface that I made a bad decision, but God flipped the script and worked it out together for my good.
Man.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have one where it all worked out?
I think everything.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
School,
well,
life.
when I think about this church, I think, when I think about, the Grace United, I'm thinking, okay, number one, we had no intention of coming to Little Rock, and Lord was like, we want you to be here, and we can look back and say this is the best thing for us. Number two, when I became the head pastor, everything looked like it was falling apart, and I was like, oh, almost the same thing. Like I'm a head pastor. I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Head pastor. And even during the pandemic, I think we would say, hey, a lot of the things that caused us to get here felt like tragedies, felt heavy, felt, and we can all say on the other side of this, the Lord used those things, because we wouldn't have gotten here without the Lord using those things.
Right.
There's no way we would be here if it weren't for tragedy. From everything from that to marrying Julie to, I say both my boys are accident number 1, accident number 2, right?
Do they know you called?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
you know, I tell my girls who we
You're going
adopted.
to get emails about that.
Yeah, I know
That's okay. That's okay. But we, you
Some
know,
people look at that as abuse.
that's okay. But we adopted our girls, you know, and I keep
So
telling.
they were on purpose.
Well, and I keep telling my girls, I was like, you should never feel left out because you're the only ones we actually chose.
That's right. The others
On
was like,
purpose.
oops, number one, and oops, number two.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
my whole life, you know, it's one of those things. It's like I can look at my life when you have the correct view, I can look at my life and I can say every good thing I have is a gift from the Lord.
Yeah.
That is not by my greatness, but by His.
Man, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Perspective.
It's hard to have when it's dark.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. It is hard to see when you have no idea what's next. I was praying this morning about
But yet
the
that's
same
most
thing.
important. I was talking with my son yesterday about Dave Ramsey, and he said the most important time to have a budget is when you don't have any money.
That's right. That's right. That's it. Well, I mean, think about that. Think about Dave Ramsey. I mean, he lost everything. He was down to zero. They were pulling cars, kicking him out of stuff, and he was like, I guess I better budget these $12 I got.
Yeah.
Because I will have $10
Yeah.
and things won't work out. So
Yeah.
that's just it. So speaking of that, I'm gonna just kind of follow up with Josh. So you talk about the volunteers. You're from Tennessee.
Memphis.
From Memphis.
Yeah.
So from Tennessee to Dallas and
here.
then to here. When you left Tennessee, did you plan on staying in Dallas?
No, I planned on going back to Memphis.
Really?
You know,
you wanted to pastor in Memphis?
it has nothing more to do. It's no more spiritual than I grew up in Memphis. That was my place. That was my people. That was my city.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to. It was just kind of most of our relatives are there. That's just where it was comfortable. You know, so I had all intentions of going back there. Or what Julie and I did when we graduated seminary is we actually drew like a 3-hour driving radius around Memphis and said we want to end up somewhere in here. And so Little Rock wasn't on the list. I tell all the time, and y'all have heard it before, but if you drive from Memphis if you think about it, if you drive from Memphis to Dallas and drive from Dallas back to Memphis, the only part of Little Rock you see is the 430 loop. And that's the airport, that's construction, that's building. So that's literally so we thought Little Rock's it's the ugliest city we've ever seen.
Because you go on the outskirts.
And yet we all know that, Little Rock is literally the most beautiful city I've ever lived in. It's the city I love the most. Like, I love the pace of Little Rock. I love the size of Little Rock. And yet, before we came here, we was like, I'm not ending up in Little Rock. Why would anybody move there?
Well, when I was younger, I didn't want to stay here. I wanted to go somewhere else. And now, and I'm going to tell you, when the call came, to just be in ministry and the whole deal, I don't think I want to go anywhere else. And had the opportunity to go but never wanted to go anywhere else. I don't know. And I don't know if that's, because I'm scary.
No. Say it ain't so.
I am a little timid when it comes to some things. I'm scary, but I never really, I don't know. I never really wanted to.
Yeah.
To go
Only other
anywhere.
place that I would have wanted to live was Memphis.
Are you serious? Well, you went all the time, though, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So between school and every church in Memphis
Yeah.
and friend, no wonder you go to Memphis.
Right.
You go.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the
deep.
only other city in America that I could have seen myself living in.
Okay, let's
Coming
go back
soon, Grace United Memphis.
to Grace United. But hold on, slow this pony down, baby. It's moving a whole lot faster than I wanted to.
I mean, that's the only other city that I am familiar with.
Gotcha.
Yeah, outside of Little Rock and North Little Rock.
So football, where would you go? Where would you want it? If let's say you went to college, you got drafted. What's the ideal? Like now? What if it's right now?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he'd be rebuilding for.
I'd be playing for Pittsburgh.
This is going to sound very crazy.
Okay. I'm scared.
Back in the day, I would have loved to have played for the Oakland Raiders.
You?
Yes.
Okay.
Largely due because of the weather.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And they moved back and forth, Oakland, LA.
You know,
and then Las
offensive
Vegas.
player. They threw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And though I played running back in high school, everyone recruited me as a receiver. I made
Okay.
All-American team as a receiver. So I love their offense and how they played. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Josh, being drafted as a pickleball player, where would you like to go? Don't you play pickleball?
I have played pickleball.
Yeah.
I do love pickleball.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know much, but I know what I know.
I do like pickleball.
Yeah. So any city you'd love to play pickleball in?
Oakland.
Yeah, boom. There it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. And I love Vegas as well. Hey, join us next time for Grace Unfiltered. You can send your questions through the app. Listen, download the app. It's got the crosses, blue and white. We'd love to have you connect with us any kind of way that we'd love for you to connect. 2 services on December 18th. 9 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. But coming soon. That's the last. Wow,
That's the
wait
last
a minute.
10:45.
The listen, let me tell you something. If you have never been to Grace United, you have to come. The very last 10:45 service that we will ever have, we want you to be, well, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to juice it a little bit.
There you go.
12900
Good job.
Cantrell Road,
Good
Little
job.
Rock, Arkansas. Also, don't forget Christmas Eve service, which will be held, ironically, on Christmas Eve, December 14th, 5:30 p.m., 12900 Cantrell Road. Thank you for joining us again on Grace Unfiltered. Have a great day.
Yep.
Bye, Cynthia.
Bye, Cynthia.
Bye, Cynthia. Hey, bye, Tron.
Bye, Tron.